My name is Mike Foster, the Entrepreneur's Mentor, and welcome to my latest video snippet. My snippets are my thoughts to help you in the development of your business. And although this latest snippet is perhaps a little bit different to usual, I do hope there's still something valuable for you to take away in what I share. Now, the pandemic lockdown has taught me so much about myself and how I specifically handle the unexpected and those things that I have no influence upon. For the last 12 months, I've been doing a lot of work around the circle of influence, but this has really brought much of the theory to life for me. Now, many of you will know that I've just relaunched my own brand again following a couple of years working for others. So it has hit me hard. And following the last 12 months, I was super motivated to make an impact. And after an incredible 30 days from restart, I had plenty of engagement, plenty of support, which I was grateful for. But it felt like everything just suddenly stopped, and it even felt like I was slipping backwards. Now, possibly, like you, I started reading the news, all of the news, watching every single government briefing, and checking in with others on what they were saying on social media. And in part, that was my hope that it wasn't going to really come to our shores in the UK. And in all truthness, that was all around my denial. And since then, I've been experiencing some loneliness. I've certainly been missing friends and business associates and my closest family. I've felt uncertain at times, unsure, and even worried about the future at times. I've certainly had cabin fever, fed up that I can't go anywhere, certainly missing my networking events. And though, like those of you that have got children, I've struggled with the balance of the commitment to my children's homeschooling with the needs of my business. I was also worried about my weight at one point because not only was the fridge too close every single day, I was also wanting to fuel my lethargic approach, my mood and my boredom. And despite having my office at home, as you can see, I found myself sat at all kinds of tables around the house, or excuses of tables like my lap. And just my posture wasn't good, I was suffering, and it was certainly uncomfortable most days. And I wasn't taking as many breaks from the screen that I should have been doing during the day because it was all intensely all about the screen rather than driving somewhere or meeting someone face to face. So I'm sure that was contributing to my tiredness and my headaches. And even on day 2 of lockdown, I was sharing things like a lip sync challenge so that I was fighting for some humour at a time when obviously it wasn't a real funny time. Now, that pandemic is certainly dangerous, it's horrid, it's scary, and it took me to the point where I trusted only a few people, I avoided strangers in public, I actually went nowhere, and I was actually found myself screaming at the TV that when I saw pictures of people ignoring the social distancing advice. As entrepreneurs, we desire control, and it is also one reason many of us start our own business. However, I guess in these circumstances, we're not in control, or we're not in control of everything that we'd like to be. And for me, that's uncomfortable, as I want to be in control of my own destiny. Now, to start with, there was moments when I was upset, and yes, I was upset. There was frustration. And as I mentioned, at times I was devastated that this was all happening at this time because I had just relaunched my business. Now, many of you know that I like my social media, I like engaging on social media, but I even got to a point when I was questioning my posts and my marketing approach, because although I knew people needed to be positive, they needed to plan a way out to survive and thrive, I also appreciated that it was a stressful time, people were in worrying, it was difficult times, and many of us were in firefighting mode for our businesses and for our families. I also found that the government support schemes weren't as positive as they were launched, certainly how they were positioned in the announcements. And many of my clients and myself, we've not been able to claim a penny from the schemes, and I believe that's like quite a few people unless they have premises. So I'm sure, like me, you've been let down, you're disappointed with some, frustrated, and even peed off by others. And if it's like me, that all contributes to how we feel. You will know, if you follow me regularly, that I love to give back, and this whole feeling was then really getting to me, and it was really hurting me at times. So I guess the next phase we went to was a little bit of excitement, because we were all jumping on the technology, we were jumping online, and we were finding new ways of working. And it didn't take long before I got zoomed out, because the intensity of every single meeting I was having, sometimes back-to-back Zoom meetings, and it was just wearing me out. And I got to the point where I was working even longer as the days and the time just all become a bit of a blur, I guess. And many of you know I'm a creative, I'm social, and I'm an innovative person, and this was all taking its toll on me and my outlook. Was I alone? Well, that was also a question I was often asking myself, because when I was checking in on networking online events or having one-to-ones with people, it was as if people weren't actually admitting the challenges that they were facing, and things seemed a bit better than they actually were. So I was actually sort of questioning myself, well, am I alone in how I'm feeling? But once the situation was clear and it was obvious that this was going to be a long-term thing and we were going to be in lockdown for quite a while, I recognised the need to do something differently, to snap out of it, to take control and to, in effect, do what I do. And luckily for me, I've developed some personal coping techniques following a stressful 2019, when I went to a very dark place and nearly did something that was very selfish and stupid. My personal coping techniques is to understand my why and remind myself of my why, which is about my family, and to also know and remind myself of my purpose, which is for me to truly support others, whether that's to support others in the development of their business or for individuals to strive towards the objectives and the difference that they want to make. Now, I appreciate that the isolation will be new and it'll be difficult for many people, so I wanted to share this specific snippet to ensure that people don't feel alone, don't feel it's just them, and that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Because ultimately, me and my family, we're healthy, and we're grateful for that, because many are not in such a lucky position. I can deal with all the rest of things at a later point by being prudent right now and having a plan for later months. And the experience for me echoes the normal reaction and that natural way that many of us manage change. Our typical behaviour is visually shown by the change curve. And if you've not seen the change curve, I encourage you to take a look online, have a look at the images, take a read up of the scenario. But for me, we first of all feel that sort of shock and the surprise, and then go into that denial stage whereby surely it can't be happening. And then it becomes a little bit frustrating when that often manifests itself as anger or blame, when we're blaming ourselves or we're blaming others. And we then reach the lowest point of the curve, where we then face confusion and uncertainty. And it's within this doubt period where it creates some sort of form of depression for us, such as a low mood or a lack of energy. And after this point, when we come up the other side, it's when we start to feel a bit more rational and we start to accept that new situation. We move into the phase where we have much more acceptance and we start to learn with the new situation, and whilst establishing any ways that we can solve any problems that we're facing, before then later integrating that change into the new normal. So although it's not ultimately healthy to feel this way, it's okay to feel this way, as long as you can find a way through. And certainly it's been okay to feel this way during lockdown. I certainly have. For me, once the dust settled from the initial storm, if you like, I felt that the new normal felt comfortable. And I suspect, like me, you've found some positives and started to love elements of this lockdown life. Certainly, I've had more time than ever with my family, and that's helped me to have better conversations with everybody in my family, whether that's my parents, my wife, my children. I'm not commuting anymore, so that's less stressful, less time consuming. I'm actually enjoying some weekday sunshine, which you normally have to wait till the wet weekends for. And I'm spending less. I'm spending less on those things that used to make me happy, because I'm realising that I've actually got all I want around me already. And I've also culled my social media of negativity, negative messages, but also negative things that I relate to. I also have a closer understanding of my children's education. I've learned something new. I've developed my knowledge. I've certainly improved my fitness. And I've focused more on me for the first time in years rather than perhaps the business. And that's ultimately made me feel much healthier. Now, personally, I'm pleased to have received positive comments about my social media and the appreciation of the support information that I've provided, and also the positive vibes that I've shared. That was certainly a boost for me at the right time, because it assured me that I was contributing towards my purpose. Now, during these unprecedented times, I've certainly established who are my friends, who I can trust, and who cares about me, not just those that are perhaps using me or holding a fake relationship with me. I've also learned that over the last decade that myself, I've let good people down, and I'm going to rectify that in the next few months. But I'm appreciative to those that have checked in with me and asked me how I was and ensured that I was also okay. So I encourage you to identify and keep good people around you, those that inspire you, those that motivate you, those that get the best out of you, because I've also found that it's made a huge impact on my personal outlook. And on that note, I would need to give a shout out to Hayley Monks, who's involved me with her team on a daily basis with their homework in squares sessions. We've had some great fun, to be honest, and we've also learnt so many new things. For me, things like keyboard shortcuts via Outlook, and recently we learnt about EFT tapping. So it's been fantastic for me. I myself am an entrepreneur, and I always look forward. I seek new opportunities. I look for revenue opportunities to build my own business. And I'm lucky, I guess, because I help other entrepreneurs seek those opportunities for themselves. So I encourage you to control the controllable. Control that one behaviour that you truly can. And that one behaviour that you truly can control is your own. And when you have control of that behaviour, you can choose where it takes you. So my advice, for what it's worth, stick with it, survive with a plan, and you will be much stronger for riding this storm and coming through the other side. I truly believe that if you've got your plan and you've got your motivation and you're in control, you've got this. I hope this latest snippet's been useful for you. There's been something in there for you to reflect upon and take away. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and each time I publish a new video, then you'll be automatically advised.